Hey Edgewood Pool volunteers and lifeguards, this is going to be a quick video on just how to do really simply every day, actually multiple times a day, test for free chlorine levels and also pH. As we walk into the pool house, one of the first things that you'll see off to the left here is a little area to do some chemical tests. All of these are the chemical reagents that we use at the pool. Anytime that these guys are starting to get empty, just let me or one of the other facilities folks know and we'll fill them up for you. What we need for the chlorine test is going to be over on the left side here. First thing we need is this little guy that has a little scooper attached to it. And we're also going to need the titrating reagent, which looks like that. And just a little above here, you'll see all kinds of different testing containers. You'll also need the top and the testing container. All that looks like this. All these steps I'm about to go through, obviously somewhere around here I'm going to post a QR code that'll bring you right to this video. But just in case you don't have access or you don't want to listen to me blabber like I am right now, everything that we're going to be doing at the pool for you guys is going to be somewhere on this laminated card right here. Obviously these are the different chlorine tests. We're only going to do the free chlorine test for you. And then also on another one of these 3x5 cards, you're going to see the pH test right underneath there. And we'll go through that one in just a second. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side of the sample container here, and I'm going to half fill it. You see that there's a little mark that says 25 that may or may not show up on this video, but we're going to fill it with water directly from the pool right to that point. So you can see right now that I've got the appropriate amount of water from the pool. And what I'm going to do is take this little scooper right here, the very, very small part of the scooper, open it up, and I'm going to take essentially this much material and add it twice to the chamber. And what you're hoping to see is this very nice pink color, because that means that we have some sort of free chlorine in the pool. If at any point you do this and you don't see it turn pink, that is a definite call to either me or one of the facilities people whose numbers are going to be posted here at the pool. And obviously we want free chlorine in the pool because that's what kills all the gross organic stuff that all of our guests bring with them. And we're going to put on the top, we're going to mix it up, and we're ready to do what's called the titration. Any of you guys that take a chemistry class are going to at some point have to do a titration, which is basically you counting drops in order to get some sort of color change to occur. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this titrating reagent one drop at a time until this guy goes colorless. One of the things you want to keep in mind is as you get better at this, you'll kind of recognize approximately how many drops I need to get this thing to change color. It's very red right now, so that usually means I need a whole bunch of drops. So instead of counting out every individual drop like I'd suggest you guys do the first couple of times, I'm probably going to add 5 to 10 drops just to give myself a start here, and then I'll go into the one drop at a time protocol. Again, if you screw it up and it turns colorless and you kind of weren't sure exactly how many drops you added, just go ahead, wash it out, and repeat the test. Pretty simple stuff. So there's 10 drops. I mix it up, and you can see that it hasn't changed color yet. So let's do about another 5, I would say. So that's a total of 15 drops. And you can kind of start to see that it's a little bit less red than it used to be. So this is where I'm going to go to 1 or 2 drops at a time. So there's 16, 17. Mix it up. Still not quite there. 18, 19. I might actually have shot by it. Mix it up again, and you can see that we're essentially colorless right now. Might have actually been 18 drops, but I'm going to call it 19 drops. And what you're going to do now is you're going to multiply that number by 2, and I'll put this on the actual video here, the math part of it. You're going to multiply that drop number by 2 and move the decimal point 1 to the left, and that's the parts per million of chlorine in the pool. So in a case like this where I did 19 drops, I'm going to multiply that by 2. I get to 38 rather. And what I'm going to do is take that 38, move the decimal point, and make it 3.8. So this is a 3.8 parts per million level of free chlorine in the pool. Obviously, all of the math is all written right here on this handy-dandy little chart. We're not going to do the combined chlorine test. That's something that it's more kind of a facilities kind of dealy bob. But if you're feeling good, you can go ahead and keep going and do the combined chlorine. In terms of where you actually put this number, you'll notice that there is a clipboard hanging up here, and you can kind of see where you record the free chlorine level. Don't worry about the combined chlorine unless you want to. Okay, now we're going to continue with a pH test of the pool. We're going to put our chlorine reagent capped and back in the appropriate spot. Notice that I've already put the scooper and the powder back in the appropriate spot as well. I'm going to go to the pool, wash this out several times, and then I'm going to completely fill it with pool water, and I'll show you how to do the very simple pH test. Okay, so I filled the big chamber all the way to the top. You can see that there's also a mark right there for 44 mils, which is what the pH test requires. By the way, keep in mind that we do have the pH test also on a laminated card right here. And it's a pretty easy test to do. You go and grab this item, which is a particular kind of reagent that changes color depending on what the pH is. Again, if you ever have the pleasure of being in a college or high school chemistry lab, you'll be able to see all kinds of this. We do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. Cap it, put it back. Mix it up. And the object here, it's kind of tough to see on the video very likely, but we're going to compare the color of our chamber with the color key over here for these particular pHs. Right now we're going to call this just about 7.5. I don't know, like sometimes you need to hold it up to a white piece of paper or into the light. But what we're really trying to do is just confirm the fact that on this chem control that we have over here, that number should be close to the number that you get. If it's not, that's another time that you should definitely call me. This is, by the way, anytime you hear me refer to the chemtrol, this is the technology that controls what the pH and kind of a rough level of chlorination of the pool happens to be. Honestly, anytime you see any alarms, which you'll notice light up for both pH and also this thing called oxidation reduction potential, or ORP, anytime you see those alarming, please let me know. There's really no need for you guys to ever play around with this. This is mostly a facilities task. But for this particular test, really what we're trying to make sure of is that pH number matches pretty closely. The only time you would ever worry about ORP is if it's actually flashing in some sort of alarm condition. Again, just make sure that you contact somebody from facilities. And that is about it.